Ships today are almost always constructed of steel or iron. However, it wasn't always this way. In this series, I'll take you through the transition from wood to iron in shipbuilding, and how it did not take overnight, but rather through the course of many years. Great Big Move has already done his video on this, and so this will basically be more in depth about all the subjects, like the ironclads. Wooden ships never really got that big because of slogging, where with the curvature of the wave, the middle of the ship would get bent, then torn up by the wave, and it would just go up and down until it would bend the hull. But with iron and steel, this factor was eliminated, and it allowed for bigger ships to be made like the Titanic. However, this transition did not completely solve the problem, as still sometimes today ships break apart due to this effect, mostly due to poor maintenance or rough seas. As you can see here, the Prestige oil tanker in 2002 broke up as well. In the mid-18th centuries, as the Great Western was sailing around making history, she was sharing a shipping lane with another ship, the Robert F. Stockton. She was a completely iron-hull ship. However, when she arrived, it did not gain much attention despite being the first iron-hulled ship to cross the ocean. During the Crimean War, the French Navy decided they would build an iron-hulled ship to fight. However, the British were aware of this and constructed their own iron-hulled ship, called the HMS Warrior. Upon seeing these ships, Isambard Kingdom Brunel must have been impressed, because he went home and changed the design of his newest ship, the Great Britain, to be made of iron and have a screw propeller instead of a wood iron-hulled steamer like it was planned to be. During the American Civil War, the Union forces failed to scuttle one of their ships, the USS Merrimac, and it was captured by the Confederates. It was then taken into dry dock, where the superstructure was scrapped and a large, barn roof looking structure was placed on top. They then renamed it the Virginia. The Confederates had invented something new, and the Union called them ironclads. They built their own ironclad, called the Monitor, and eventually these two ships would meet in battle. The Virginia would go to harass the Union wooden-hulled ships. However, when they did, they were heading for the Minnesota. However, they were not aware that under the cover of night, another invention had just slipped into the harbor, and this was the Monitor. Sitting very low above the waterline, they fought. Both ships were too damaged, and both sides thought that they had won. The Virginia would be blown up to prevent getting into Union hands, and the Monitor, which was more settled for the rivers, would end up sinking. After the war, the U.S. would commission the USS Wolverine, and although she had a great time fighting pirates on Lake Michigan, she would end up being scrapped eventually. A little after the war, to prove that screw propellers were better, a tug-of-war was held by a screw propeller ship and a paddle wheel ship, and the paddle wheel ship almost won, but the screw propeller, when hit at full speed, pulled along the paddle wheeler to port. Currently, that's going to be it for this first episode. Happy holidays, and the next episode will mainly be modern ocean liners and the evolution of them.